Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Welcome to our special call meeting from the mayor and the board member of the city of Newton. Mr. Bob, can you say the word of prayer?
Sure. Let's pray. Father, as we come together tonight, we thank you for the participants. We thank you for this board. We thank you for the police department. Father, may we say and do things that are pleasing to you. And Father, give us peace when we leave here that something was accomplished. We thank you, Father, for your Son Jesus, most of all, and we thank you and ask you to please give us wisdom, discernment, and Father, may we lift up one another and encourage you. We love you, in Jesus' name. Amen.
See that everybody's appointed for except for Mr. Hilly. The first topic is discuss community safety.
You gonna have to speak up.
I said the first topic is discuss community safety.
Need to put that fan on over there. Is there a fan over there?
It is a fan over there.
Huh? Is there one over there? We just turn the fan off.
You cut that fan off if you want to over there. Thank everybody for coming. Just like Tuesday night, we thank for everybody showing their vote of the care for the community and the safety of this community. And I believe that from our standpoint, from myself and the board of aldermen and the staff here, that we also want to look out for what's the best interest for our community, for everybody to be safe and everybody to feel that warm and for us to know that they're being protected. All right. So that's why we called this special meeting to address those concerns. As I've already spoke with Mr. David Pitts, just to take it on from Tuesday night, about I want to discuss with my team, our police chief, and our board of members on how to move forward into making things better for the city of Newton. Okay? Before we made any kind of decisions to put anything out there on this past Tuesday, I want to speak with everybody to do so. And everybody to voice their opinion on things that we can do to make this city better, to support our police department for what they can do to give y'all that vote of confidence that you're being safe. All right. I know we had an incident last night on Pine Street, and our police chief and staff was there, along with a representative from the sheriff's department. I think they did a great job in investigating the case and handling what went on last night. The police chief was there, his staff was there. They perused the scene. They did the investigation. They talked to neighbors in the area. They did all the things that I thought that they need to do at the particular time. And at this time, they do have two people of interest to contact to bring in for questioning. So, does anybody else have any comments, any thoughts?
To the public? To the public.
I've got a couple of questions. One, that none of the questions were answered the other night. And rumors are that a lot of these drive-bys are coming from your stepson. And my question is the chief covering it up from these recent events?
He's not performing the drive.
Okay.
And the chief is not covering it up.
Was the gunshot residue tested from the individual car that was shot last night from the driver? If not, why?
I don't know if gunshot residue was tested or not, but I know they picked up shell cases and everything like that.
Okay, I was told by the chief this morning, and his response was there was no gun found in the car and there were no shell casings. If I was going to do a drive-by, I probably would do it with my hand out the window. And then the other night, openly, lies were told in front of all the aldermen. And you guys know that.
Tell me what lies they were, specifically. Be specific.
Specifically, go back and watch the video.
No, you
on
tell
the
me. You
budget.
said they were told. Tell us.
Yeah.
Come on, tell me.
The budget, he said, was $600,000. It was cut by $300,000, and the budget's $583,000.
It may
Also,
not be exact numbers.
okay, you want
Go
another
ahead.
one?
Go ahead.
All right, on travel, he says that he's required to do hours and hours of training. Question is, how many hours is he at Moorhead? How many hours is he at Moleda? Is he on our budget while he's getting paid by them? That's illegal if it is.
So when was the last time of training that chief did that he was getting paid for? When was that last time? When's the last
Not
time
training that he's receiving, training he's given.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the exact
Okay.
question I'm asking.
And my question is,
Let's
where are you
finish.
getting
Let's
from?
finish that. We know where the information is coming from, but Chief, you have the right to speak on that. Would you speak on that, please?
I've been in law enforcement over 30 years. And David, you know I've trained.
If you've been in law enforcement for
Wait a minute,
30
let me finish
years,
now.
why don't you know how to do
We're not gonna be
paperwork to
disrespectful.
investigate?
What we're not gonna do is get disrespectful. We're not gonna do that.
Let's let everybody finish talking,
Yes.
and then let that person respond.
So, yeah. So now, I've been in law enforcement for 30 years, and I've been a trainer at the academy, and I've trained many police officers throughout this state. In order to have my background in training, I have never used anything on city's dime to go train. Now, if you're talking about the training, I trained when I was at the Sheriff's Department. I trained when I was at Morton Police Department. The time that I used was my time. There's nothing that I don't use the city's time to go train. And you of all people should know that, because I've trained you, I showed you some stuff and trained you on some stuff. So now, I mean, it's easy to sit there and say about what the police department do, but I don't see you putting an application in trying to do this job. It's easy for you to sit there and Monday morning quarterback what we should be doing, talking about, well, if I was this person, I would stick my hand out the window, but you wasn't out there doing the shooting last night. So why in the world you want to just say, okay, well, if it was me, well, the people that was doing this, it was them, it wasn't you. And as far as gunshot residue go, David, hey, you asked a question and I gave you an answer, okay? But this matter is still under investigation. So I don't need you to Monday morning quarterback my job for me. If you want to do that, stop being a physical therapist and put on a badge and a gun. If that's what you want to do, then do it. But don't sit here and talk about my character, David. Don't do that.
So what about the trainings that you've had to take in all those states? Will you
Yes.
kind of go some-
Through Mississippi state law, I have to have X amount of number of training hours to train my officers. As a chief, I want to make sure that my officers are well trained in the things that they need to do. Even while I'm there at Moleda, taking a course on criminal investigations, which was approved by this board. So now, if anybody's giving you all this information, why they didn't tell you that the board approved me to go to take these classes? So that way I can come back and train my officers on how to do their job effectively. It's just like you at your job. I don't tell you how to come down there and do physical therapy. I don't come down there and tell you how to do anything. But that's all with respect. And I expect the same respect in return. And so, because the simple fact is, I do the best job that I possibly can. The best job I possibly can. And so, with that being said, I mean, yes, I go do the training that I receive, I go bring it back to my guys and train them. I train in firearms, I train in defensive tactics, I train in knife defense, I train in gun retention, I train it all. And so in order for me to keep my certification, I have to go do certain training. And at points in time, I have let the board know where I be at. It's not like I'm off gallivanting. I'm not doing that. I'm going to train to let my people be the best officers they possibly can be. And any one of these guys will tell you, any one of them will tell you what kind of training that they receive, what I give them. Anybody there at the sheriff, I trained guys at the sheriff's department over the years when I was there. And you know this, David. You know this. So that's all I have to say about it.
We still didn't get an answer. How many hours is he training other officers, and how many hours is he doing, and is he driving the city vehicle to go when he's doing these training hours?
Again,
I'm not judging your character.
Yes, you are.
I'm judging the
Yes,
performance
you are.
of your
Yes,
job.
You are. Yes, you are. And the performance of my job. If the city sends me, I go. Yes, I go in the city vehicle, David. If they send me, just like at the Chiefs conference, when they send me to the regulated time that I have to be by the state at the Chiefs conference, I go to the Chiefs conference. Yes, I do.
How many hours and what dates did you train our officers based on what you trained?
My officers receive firearm training. They receive
What
defensive
dates
tactics
and how
training.
many hours?
I'm not sitting here, in any training session, it goes up to maybe 4 to 8 hour days. Some days on the weekend.
Can the board
We-
provide those dates?
One thing we don't do is micromanage not one single department in here, not one. Whenever they do trainings, if he does a training, he comes back and let us know, that's what we go on. We're not sitting around here saying, what are you doing today? What are you doing today? Maybe if that's what y'all want from us, that's not what we're doing. We've never done that to any department.
So they're not
So-
responsible for being at work?
So you're
They are
saying he's
supposed
not
to
at
be
work? Okay. So you're saying you're not at work, so
Wow.
what about the trainings where you actually get paid? Let's talk about those. When you go do those state trainings where you'll get paid, on those areas.
Okay, because when I go do
When was the last one you've done, I guess the question.
it was last year, I want to say around September, maybe October, somewhere along in there.
You haven't done another one since then?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. And the only training that I've gone to
So
do.
all
that-
of these other trainings had nothing to do with you getting paid
No,
to make extra money nowhere?
no.
I just want to make sure we're getting the facts in now.
Yes, sir.
And not just what somebody's talking about.
Right.
Okay?
So,
The latest training that he's going to now is board approved. To go out, get that training and bring it back to our department.
Okay. When are you guys gonna get the questions from the other night?
so
I haven't had a chance to talk to everybody, and and like I said, me and you've been talking, and I will get you that information.
To answer you, Mr. Pitts, I have started on those questions and I will have a report on the first Tuesday of next month. Just like you do research and everybody else, I'm going to do my research.
That's fine.
I'm not gonna come back to this board and present nothing that's false. Everything that I bring will be factual.
Okay. Would you fire anyone from any other department that openly did not tell the truth in a public meeting?
Well, it takes 3 of us to fire somebody. I just can't fire anyone by myself.
Okay. And this is not about anybody being fired, it's about job. I don't have any agenda against Randy Patrick. I love Randy Patrick as a person. But the policing, for instance, like not collecting, if you've had 30 years of training and investigations, you should be able to file a police report that's able to get to the DA and make it through to get a prosecution. You should be able to do an accident report within a certain amount of days. You should be able to, hey, somebody's accused of shooting, shouldn't we take gunshot residue from them? That's just common sense to me. I'm not a professional policeman, nor do I want to be one. I mean, those are legitimate questions. And no one should get mad about asking questions.
You all right? You all right? So I'm gonna leave Tuesday night, and then I was talking with just thinking to myself, getting ready to gather my thoughts to come to our team and get ready to like what I want to talk about, and then brainstorm with them. It's the same kind of questions. All right. So if they send a report up to the DA or to the grand jury or whomever may send, and they send it back, ask the question, why did it get sent back? So I can perform that duty better. Yes. And if I don't know how it works, but can I resubmit my report?
Yes.
All right. So going from there, and then any accident reports. I agree, they should be done in a timely manner. Let's say 2 weeks, or a week, 5 days, or whatever it may be. I don't know the protocol, but I agree to a timely manner. That's for anybody, not just cause I know Susie over here and Jim over there, but strategic fairness for everybody. And those some things that I'm looking to talk to them about as well with my team.
And that's what we want. We're wanting to see a course of action. You know, if you go in the executive session, we as the public should hear, hey, we're gonna do this better, or we're gonna take actions and do this.
Yes, sir.
And we didn't get that Tuesday night.
Like I said, I want to discuss with my people so I can relay that information to you.
Thank y'all for letting me know.
Right, ain't no problem.
On the incident last night, was there a 911 call made? Was there a 911 call made on the incident last night?
yes,
Did that 911 call come out to you guys?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You guys made it to the scene, right? And on the information y'all was given about someone else being shot at, those people wasn't there to get tested for gunshot residue, was they? The people that were supposedly shooting.
Right.
They were not. Did you guys collect the evidence?
Yes, we've collected, numerous shell casings out at the scene. And so if a person that, you know, in a car, this is not TV, this is not crime scene investigation. I mean, in order to do gunshot residue, I mean, it has to be on the person's hands. I mean, you know, because, and like I told David, you know, there was not a gun found in the car. I mean, there was no gun in the car. The person that was in the car, they were victims.
They were the victims. They were not the
They
ones
were the
shooting.
victims. That's exactly right. They are the victims in this
Okay.
case. And so if people would let the police and let the police do what they need to do instead of Monday morning quarterbacking the police. And like I said, at any given time, there's applications there at the police department. Fill them out, come on.
All
And
right,
let the board let us hire.
So you collected evidence, you did go talk to the neighbors?
Yes, sir. We went and talked to several people. Once we talked to the people, got the information that we need, and so now we have persons of interest that I can't divulge any more information other than that.
I got you.
And I think one of the biggest concerns with everybody in here is when things happen, when things happen, I think most of the concern with everybody in here is we're not picking them up questions. Can you elaborate why they don't pick up?
Dan, they can't hear you over here.
I'm just saying, I think the most of the concern with everybody in the room is why we not picking up people's questions. And
Well, see, a lot of times when you're talking about an incident that occurred, sometimes a lot of people don't want to give that information. So we can't be out here nightsticking the colored people trying to find out exactly what they're doing. We can't do that. We have to, when we get information, we find out what it is, we go talk to them once we get that information. But if they don't get that information and if people don't talk, how can we get it? That's my issue. That's not my issue. That's the issue with every law enforcement officer throughout this country. If nobody talks, how can you get it? You know, it's because when people say, well, okay, well, I heard shots. I heard it. Okay, it's a difference in hearing and seeing. We could hear shots all day long. But did you see somebody drive the car? Did you see somebody walking down the street? Did you see a shell casing here and there? You know? I mean, because shot noise do travel. They do travel. And so, you know, it's not, you know, all I'm saying is once the call comes in, the officer can only do what they could do is go patrol the area and try to see if anybody's walking, anybody, maybe a vehicle parked on the side of the road, something to that effect. It's not just, okay, well, let's just go knock on Jay's house, snatch him out the house. Okay, did you do the shooting? So that's the thing. I mean, you know, in other words, guys, just to make a long story short, help us to do our job better. We have to have communication with the citizens. The citizens have to communicate. Other than say, well, okay, I called 911, I heard the shots, that's it. It goes beyond that. And so, like I said, hey, we're taking applications.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
The victim we're talking about in last night's shooting, did he not know who it was? He knew nothing about the situation?
No, well, ma'am, it's still ongoing. And the only thing that I can say is that people didn't say hardly too much of anything. That's the only thing that I can tell you. Until we get everything what we need done. And so, and we're working on that.
Were they juveniles or adults?
Again, it's still the same thing, still on the investigation. All I can tell you is we have persons of interest.
Patrick,
Yes, sir.
can we, I'm sure you probably know, or you and your officers, whatever, the areas that is the worst, per se, in Can we not have more police presence in those areas? And this is just an observation by me. I think we're way too concerned about running radar, giving somebody a ticket for doing 2 or 3 miles over the speed limit, out here on 15, down here on 80, down here at the chicken basket, sitting around. Could we not, or would it not help if these officers sit in these neighborhoods, if they want to sit, let them sit in these neighborhoods where we're having all this trouble at. And if they see a police presence, they're not stupid. They're gonna say, oh, well, I might not want to do that because that cop may pull up any minute. But if they go for days or weeks or whatever and never see a cop car come driving through, they just think they scot-free and homebound. And like I said, I've got a business downtown. I've seen them sit at the chicken basket for half a day running radar. And I just think time could be utilized in some of these areas that we're getting trouble out of, you know?
Yes.
And that's it. Like I said, I'm not a cop. Don't want to be a cop.
Yes. Okay, so now let me expound on that. A lot of times when you see the officers sitting in there, it's because we have got complaints. We have to answer those complaints. When people come through speeding and all that stuff, we have to answer those complaints. We just, I mean, you know, because even Mr. Bears have called and complained about speeding down Church Street. We send somebody down there, we run radar, you know, we have to be more collective about certain things that we do throughout the city. Because, okay, you got one part of town call, say, okay, somebody's speeding over here. Okay, we got to send an officer over there to check that out. Okay, you get another call, somebody's speeding down here. Okay, we just send an officer to go check that out. Sometimes they set to do radar details is because of the complaints that we get. And we're stretched thin. We're stretched very thin. And so just to say, well, to have it all in one crime area, we need it all over. We need it all over.
Well, I think you know where the worst part of the violence is. I think you know.
Where?
It's not as a chicken basket around here for four-way stop signs.
Let me expound on that. A lot of the traffic is the speeding stuff. You're right, we do sit there, and I have to agree with you. But the board has asked them to do this because the community came and said, they're speeding on Church Street all this time. We tired of all this speeding. We're tired of this. And so we asked them to go sit there because these same constituents in here are the ones complaining about it.
Okay,
So
what's more important?
What?
Somebody doing
Ask your
2
community.
miles over the speed limit or somebody getting their car shot up?
they're both important.
No, they're not.
They're both important.
What's more important? I ask you what's more important.
Somebody's losing their life is way more important. We know that.
What's more important? Action.
That's
The shooting.
no doubt the shooting, but at the end of the day, do you want them to go sit there?
Let's concentrate our
So you're saying you want our officers to just go sit there? Just answer the question. Is that what you want? You want them to go sit there? Do you want them to go sit there? Answer the question.
Yeah, sure do.
All right, so if you sit there, don't worry about when they come and say they don't see you all patrolling anymore because y'all are sitting in one spot. Then we don't need that complaint either.
Stop signs are supposed to be.
You're talking around the question.
No, I answered your question. I answered your question.
Okay, hold on.
I answered your question.
All right.
Now, I've been in this town since I was in the 2nd grade.
I've been here all my life too, trust me.
This town ain't never been like it is now.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I lost a $30-something thousand piece of equipment 2 Christmases ago down at my shop. 4 o'clock in the morning, they back there and stole a trailer with a backhoe bucket on it, over $30,000. Officer come down there and did an investigation. Pitts was talking about reports a while ago. Come down there and did an investigation. I give him a copy of the title. I give him everything. I showed him the video off of my cameras. A month later, I run up on Patrick and I asked him about it. The officer never made a report on it. To Patrick's defense, he called me back and he said, I cannot find a report on this crime. Where could that trailer be? It could be in Ethiopia by now. Nobody's ever made a report. Nobody's ever looked at cameras. Nobody's ever done nothing.
I agree with you on that part.
In response to that, I have talked to you several times about that and gave you several different scenarios about where your trailer went. Now, here's the thing now, and remember what we talked about. The guy that's sitting up there in jail that worked for you was a possibility of the one that stole your trailer. And I told you that.
Well, I said in your defense.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
But he's just saying that that's an issue in itself.
That's right. It is an issue in itself. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Steve.
stay on Oak Street, better known as West End. Been in Newton all my life. And this is a good time. Good people in it. It's not the people that stay on Oak Street or West End that's doing the shit. It's the people that's coming into our community. Now, I heard this while ago back there in the back. Yes, I've heard shooting. I heard it last night. I hear it all the time. Sometimes people call me on my phone. Hey, Stick, who doing that shooting over there on West End? Oh, that's coming from the gun range. We got a gun range over there too. Sometimes it don't be coming from the gun range. But have I seen that fire coming out of them shots? Yes, I have. Have I made, hey, Mike, I get on, I call Mike, hey, look here, we got something going on over here. What does he do? He gets on the phone, he calls the police. A lot of this is before Chief Patrick came on board. And a lot of them still going on. So like I said, we all are here together to work through. Like I said, I'm gonna say this one more time. It's not the people that stay in my community. It's the people that come in my community that keeping up this kind of reputation. We are tired. Don't think the black people in our community are not tired of this too. I have neighbors over there that can't come out and work in their yard. Can't sit on their porch because they don't know what somebody might come through them.
So when you call Mike, does Mike call him, do they show up?
Yes.
They do that?
All the time.
Yes.
All the time?
I don't know.
All the time. Yes.
So,
So, you know, that's just, you know, I just want this young man to know that it's not the people in my community that's doing this. It's the people that come in there doing this.
That's the people you gotta get out of here.
Different town.
Yeah. Thank y'all.
You gotta get them out of here.
Well, the only time that it might be our community and somebody else coming in, if someone in our community is engaged in illegal activity or gang activity, and the other gangs are coming, for instance, I'm gonna go ahead and say this now. We happened to be in Meridian this afternoon. Did I understand that last night's shooting involved a red car? I read that somewhere. Maybe so, maybe not. There are a gazillion red cars in the world, but we happened to be there, happened to be making a turnaround, and there was a red Honda, which I heard that's what it was, turned in front of us and had 2 bullet holes in the car. It was a Lauderdale County tag. I've got the tag number in case anybody's interested in having it. You know, when you see something that looks suspicious, that's the time to call somebody and tell them. And so we'll all sit back and say somebody needs to do something. That somebody sometimes becomes me and you. I'm just saying, I don't know what it was, but I've got this if you want.
I want to address the board and everyone in here. Now, we did request that stop signs be put on West Church Street, and I can tell you why. I was up at 3:30 this morning. I've seen the same car, they're blowing through, and you can't do anything about it. There's no point in me calling you at 3:30 because I don't know where they went to. But they come through there on a regular basis, like maybe going to work. They never stop. They're running about 50 to 70 miles an hour, and they blow through every stop sign, and you can hear them bounce over the railroad track when they hit it.
Mr. Barrett, what kind of vehicle is it?
Tamika, it's dark outside. I be, you know, they're going by. I hear them coming. I just happened to be up and looked out my side window. You've got a big picture window there, and I just saw them. I just want you to know it's happening. But, you know, and I'm not saying you can do anything about it, but we've got to get people more involved to do that. Number 2, is there any way, and this gentleman mentioned it, I hear the gun range too, and you don't ever know. Can you publish when your officers are going to be out there shooting so that we'll know, hey, this is not this is a shooting, or it's an actual, or people?
Well, because I let some of the aldermen know that we're gonna be out there training. And then also too, because, Mr. Pugh called me today, and they're gonna have the kids out there this weekend, shooting at the range this weekend. So I told them that we're not gonna be out there training. They can have the range to go out there and shoot. So, you know, something for our kids.
Is there something, Brent, you can get Brent a copy of and say, look, the police department's gonna be out there shooting these dates or whatever? Yeah, I mean, just so the citizens don't sit there and get all cringed up thinking there's a gunfight going over on Pine Street.
At night or in the daytime?
I got a question. I've been asked this, and I think you told me one time, but I don't remember. Why do our officers ride around with their lights on?
Those are cruise lights. Those lights
You
are.
see them 2 miles away?
That's a good thing.
You not supposed to.
Yes. Because even if you go to Meridian, Meridian has those crews. Meridian does it, Jackson does it. I mean, most towns does that, and it's a deterrent. It's a deterrent. Because the lights are not on to pull nobody on, they're just blue lights that's on. And those, so. Well, I mean, they can do the same thing without the lights.
Sometime back, I remember we had some concerned citizens saying they didn't see the police.
So they put the
And
lights
at
on.
that
was the reason
time,
why we did
that's why they decided to have them blue lights on, so the citizens could see them patrolling in their area. That's what.
They kept saying, we never see no police, never see the police. So that blue light signified that the police is around. And now that's a problem. So how do you win this thing? How do you fix it?
I have a question.
Hold on.
If there is such a shortage on police and foot patrol and patrol cars, what about cameras? Cameras will help solve a
We've been
lot.
fighting for a long time trying to get cameras too. But
Cameras,
the first thing we're told, we don't have the money in our budget.
raise it.
How much can we give to you to get cameras in here?
Now, you, just like you donated to that, beautification fund, you can start a fund to do that, to help that position.
Can I say something on
Yeah.
that? And Mr. Barry, with all due respect, sir, there's grant money that's out there for that. And we're diligently trying to apply to get that in here inside the city. Not only the cameras, but also LPRs, which is license plate readers. So, put in designated places throughout the town. So we're working on grant funding to get that. And so therefore, through the Mississippi Homeland Security Grant, which will be, applications are online March 1st. Or they take applications March 1st. And we're doing everything that we can diligently to make sure that we apply for it, and hopefully we succeed and get the funding to,
How much does one camera cost?
Are there funds, grants out there to hire more police officers? That's what we want. We need a solution.
yes, ma'am.
Y'all can't do it with 8 people.
I'm sorry, every one of us know you can't do it with 8 people.
Yes, ma'am.
Where can we get money to hire more policemen?
I think the biggest thing with that is, and I talked to Mr. Randy about it, when we have problems, we gotta utilize the county. I mean, they got to come in and help us. So that's gonna be the only way we can fix it as of right now.
Right now.
Okay, since y'all on this back and forth, do y'all think y'all give them the proper equipment and the proper pay for the job y'all asking them to do?
I will speak on that. The police force that they have requested for a raise, they have requested for different things, and the board.
Police officers making in Mississippi?
They all make different.
From 12 to 16?
Well, from this department, it's right at $14 an hour.
Excuse me, let me get that.
$14 an hour.
How much you say?
$14 an hour.
$14 an hour.
Yes, sir.
I think these guys, they put their life on the line to protect us. You think that's worth $14 an hour for board as well?
But see,
I mean, I just think, you probably get better candidates if you paid more.
But see, because even the town of Decatur has went up to $16 an hour. Plus they're giving all types of incentives to attract people.
Yes.
Such as take home cars and more, paying for their insurance and all of this stuff.
So why-
Now, we have to pay a portion of our insurance here. Well, a little bit of money that they get is going towards the insurance. So therefore, they try their best to make what little bit of money
Yes,
they can.
I don't feel like it's
but-
fair for what they getting paid for the job they getting asked to do.
I'm gonna say this, Joe, not arguing with you. When you go to work, I don't know what you make an hour.
It ain't gonna be $14.
But I'm just saying, when you go to work, that's what I'm finna say. Well, you go to work for $14 an hour. If you don't wanna make $14 hours, what you gonna do?
Move around.
You gonna go to another job, ain't you? So that's what I'm saying. Hey,
No, that's not what he's saying. Go ahead, finish.
It's been plagued with this since I've been here. He's a higher police officer, will pay the train, and then he's gone.
yeah.
He's gone for more pay.
Because of more pay.
Because of more pay.
Because of more pay.
He's gone to Meridian,
Yeah.
he's gone to Forest, he's gone.
Yeah.
Actually, the city of Newton's done paid and spent time and money to train, they gone.
Springs is at 19. Forest is at 16. Morton's at, I want to say Morton's at 1475. That's just, you know.
So we're low man on
Yes,
total
low man on
pay,
total, yes.
on pay.
Yes.
The reason they can pay that is because, cities like Bay Springs has $5 million in surplus. We don't have any surplus.
What's our revenue stream here? Is it all
Not
sales
enough.
tax? Property tax also involved?
You got taxes, you got services, what else, Jay?
Sales tax.
Sales tax. Y'all think back, we're operating a budget like we did 15 years ago. We've lost Killing Chevrolet, we've lost Mike Strebeck downtown. We had, at one time, we had 5 or 6 grocery stores here. We have lost a lot of business. Sure, we got some fast food places out there, but that doesn't make up for, you know,
Everything we lost.
revenue off of the sale of a brand new car. So we have hurt. We're operating like we did 15 years ago on that budget, and we're barely getting by.
Bob, let me ask you this, who's gonna locate to this town when you have the shooter or two every night?
Well,
Nobody.
that's the point of this, that's the point of this discussion, because if it don't change, we're not gonna get a business in town.
They're not gonna come here, I mean, when you're having shootings every day and every night, drive-bys and break-ins and trailers being stolen and everything else, ain't nobody gonna come here.
Well, what's it related to? Is it related to gangs or drugs?
That's
Both.
all over America, guys.
That's
That's
all over.
not here. You understand? It's all over America. So if we start here to change here, then maybe we can, somebody else will catch on and change Meridian, Jackson, and all over. It's not just here.
But
It's people.
this town has a drug problem.
Everywhere, everywhere, honey.
We're not everywhere.
I know, but what matters is, if we, I'm not getting upset. What matters is, if we don't come together and try to stop it,
I agree.
and the policemen's more, it even starts at the school. Do you know how much they make at the school? I worked there. $800 a month it was I was bringing home. That don't give you no incentive to go to work. Come on, let's get real. This is where we're at. So let's make a change and quit bickering. Let's get together and do what we need to do.
That's what we're trying.
And that's okay, let me tell you something about churches and stuff. When you see these kids out here and they're loud music, sagging pants, I mean, we don't have to go and get on them and fuss at them. Let's show some love. Amen. Sweetheart, what's your name today? How are you doing today? When I was at school, if they would tell you, I made it fun in the lunchroom when they came through the door. I showed love. We got to do that. Don't criticize them and get on them for what they're doing wrong, because everybody know what they do wrong. Let's get together and show some love. Hug them. Get the preachers out in there and preach to them in a good way. We're not doing anything but putting them out there to do worse.
I agree with you there.
That's all.
But
It's not no but. It's not no but.
they're not being raised.
They doing what, sir?
They're not being raised.
Okay. I've been here, I moved here from Chicago in 1982. Let me finish, son-in-law. I moved here in 1982 from Chicago. I had good parents, but I also seen what was going on my block. And I thank God for what I had, because they taught me. And some kids didn't get. Listen, I had children on the block that didn't get food. They told me later on, they said, Sharon, you know, y'all was the only one that had food in y'all house. I snuck sandwiches out the back door to my friends.
Yes, ma'am.
Because they didn't have food in the house.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
don't know what happened. We don't know. Let's go to the houses. Let's talk to the kids. Go to the school and talk to the kids.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's.
Some of them don't get fed until they come to school, but who cares?
Schools can't raise kids.
Yes, they can.
Everybody
Yes,
can.
they can, baby. Yes, they can.
Sharon, Sharon.
You gotta get out of order.
You don't have to start at home.
Come on.
Start in love with one person.
Come on.
Take a child in love. church, work hard, give them the things that they need to go out and make themselves successful and everything, and they still end up out there in the streets with these gangs. Amen. Amen. I've seen it. Johnny, Dan, raise your hand. I remember being a 19-year-old girl. I came back to my community and I started working at what was called Rescue Our Children Youth Center. These kids don't have stuff like that. They don't have nothing. They don't have it. We don't give them nothing. So yeah, when they look out there and see the dope dealer, they think it's cool. Yeah, when they look out there and they see the ones riding with the good cars and the big rims on them and their music blasting, they want to be just like them. Because we ain't gave them nothing to look at. We ain't giving them nothing to focus their attention on. We're not trying to redirect them in any way, but we want to sit here and point a finger. It's the police fault. It's the alderman fault. It's the mayor fault. No, no, no. We all are at fault. Amen. Amen. We're all at fault. Everybody. We all are at fault. Yes, we are. Because what have you did to save any of these children you're talking about? What have you done?
What do you want to do? Give up? Just give
No.
up?
Give them a positive something to focus on.
Mentioned a couple of times, everybody's seen the no noise ordinance sign, but we passed that a long time ago. Ray was the instigator and he's no longer with us. But the first fine for a written ticket for noise is $250. Have we ever written any noise ordinance tickets?
Not to my knowledge.
Yes, yes. My nephew got one.
How long ago?
Yeah, my nephew got one.
She helped you.
Thank you.
See, that's son.
Thank you so much. I didn't answer that question. That's one.
We also have one bag of paint.
Chief,
Yes, ma'am.
one thing I think, like we talked about Tuesday night, was a little more transparency and communication. And like, for example, today, I was on Facebook and Scotty Ray out of Meridian wrote about our incident. And then the sheriff's department wrote a long paragraph about something that they were able to work out, made some arrests out in Stratton. And people began to comment and say, good job, way to go, whatever, whatever. Could our police department assign somebody who could, you know, do those ongoing posts? And I know a lot of times you can't discuss things because it's ongoing and you can't share that, but maybe for the times that you are able to make some arrests or whatever, maybe you could do a blurb on that. And then also, if y'all know that the shooting ranges are going to be used, just put a blurb, you know, this Saturday from 9 to 12, the gun, and then that way everybody will know, and just communicate a little bit more about when we do make those arrests or anything that y'all are able to share. I really think the more the community is able to know, I think that would be encouraging, and you know, I just think it would help.
Andy, in conjunction with the sheriff's department, which we talked about Tuesday night, and pulling them in, and you can anytime you want to. Do y'all, well, that would be extra manpower. So do y'all do any undercover surveillance of the worst areas where so much of this is going on? Could you not do undercover surveillance where they don't see the cars, they don't see the people? They're hidden. Yeah, I watch TV, but it works. They always get the bad guy, okay?
Always get the back.
So like an undercover unit or something like that?
I mean, just put your guys in one car, and I'm about,
Yes, ma'am.
they have a police car someplace else, so they can call to them and say, I just got this car, apprehending me so-and-so. We've got, it's going on too much, they're hitting the same areas, it just seems like to me, that if you put people out there, nobody knew they were there, we don't need the blue light shining. Nobody know they're there, and keep it quiet, that you could apprehend somebody.
Well, see, first of all, to answer your question, we don't have the personnel to get overtime. We're not allowed to get overtime, so we barely get what we can.
You got the sheriff's office to pull from.
Well, the sheriff's department has their own problems too. So the sheriff's department, I mean, you know, I can't speak for the sheriff. The sheriff has his own personnel. I can't speak for the sheriff. But what I can expound on, you know, we could get help from state agencies. And so if they can pool their resources for us, it would be better for us. And so we have to pool the resources. We have to do the networking. That's where all the training and stuff come from, because you have to have the networking part of it. And so that's the best.
People can be killed before all this networking and all this stuff.
I understand that, but you have to also understand too, we got to follow the letter of the law. We just can't just go out there, like I said, we can't go out there and just, everything has to be done in detail. If you do something and it gets off on a technicality, well, so-and-so said, well, y'all should have been out there in the woods, but hey, we just got him off on a technicality. Then who you gonna come back and look at? The chief.
Well, that reverts right back to what I said. I think a police presence off Church Street, between there, where a lot of this is coming from. I've been at my shop a lot of evenings, and trust me, it ain't the gun range shooting down there when I'm down there. It's not the gun range. I just think a police presence would be very helpful. If you're gonna sit somewhere, go sit in them neighborhoods. If you're gonna sit in a police car for half a day, go sit in that neighborhood for half a day. Don't sit out here at Sefco watching people go up and down.
Are you saying sit in black neighborhoods or sit in white neighborhoods?
I'm saying all neighborhoods. I'm saying
that's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. I'm glad you said that. Yes.
That's what you said.
Yes.
Let's get in the neighborhoods, patrol cars. Let's sit in the neighborhoods. Let's ride around.
Let me ask something first.
Yes.
Chief,
Clearly,
Yes.
that's what you said.
another question. We were talking about cameras a while ago.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask everyone in here, how many has the door ring camera or camera on their front door?
I would never say it.
Well, if you got it, when one of these cars is reporting there's a shooting on a certain street, do y'all go down through there and check with 4 or 5 houses to see if there's a camera?
Well,
I know there was one on Mimosa.
Okay, yes. I know my assistant chief has. And even when he went and asked for the cameras and all that stuff, and I think, Johnny, I don't wanna overspound what you may have to say about this, but sometimes those cameras that on the ring door cameras, they don't catch the tag. They don't catch that. They may catch a color. They may catch a color of the car. But then if a white car comes through, okay, you got 30 other white cars that's coming through too. So we just don't know because it's a white car that passes through. If we get a shot of the tag information, then we know exactly what we could do to run that tag through dispatch.
Your man was not identified with a camera.
Not all the time. They be blind spots on the camera.
I've seen some of
them.
them. Right. And you can't really tell on some of them. I've seen them.
I'm gonna ask the chief a question. What this young man was addressing a while ago about putting the officers in a certain position. What time do these crimes happen? Last night it was around about 7 o'clock. Okay, what I'm trying to get to is, these crimes don't happen in the daytime. These crimes happen when we in the bed sleeping at night. These people that's going out here doing these shooting and doing these stealings, guess what they doing in the daytime? Okay.
I want to say one thing. Excuse me. We're talking about used to not be like this. Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you.
No, it's not just at night, because I know we've been at the schoolhouse, and we've had personnel to run out while we were on bus duty and tell us to hurry up and get kids on the bus, because the gunshots are close and they're near, and we can hear it. And we're trying to hurry up and get our kids in the school, on the school buses, or trying to rush them back in until, and then we get notifications that we're on lockdown or whatever. So it's not just at a certain time of the day.
5 o'clock the other evening, I walked out of my shop down there by the chicken basket. Somebody dumped a clip down there off of West Church Street. So it ain't at night. Only at night. And that's what I'm saying. That wasn't good.
I just want to go back a minute. What you were talking about. Used to it not be like this. I ain't planning to talk tonight, y'all. But I'm sorry. Going back to people say it used to not be like this. We used to, we had kids programs. We had baseball teams, we had the little basketball teams. We had something for them to do, and that's how people recognize these kids that may not have anything to eat or stuff. They identified them. Where are all those programs we used to have to help with the kids? That's where we got to start it, with the kids.
And when we have programs, unless it's a basketball game or a football game, we don't see anybody. I have been doing drama club for 5 years. I haven't saw half of these people here at a school function. Majority of them. I know that, but no, I'm saying, you just said we had. Why don't we do that now? And we put it on Facebook, we put it out there, we advertise, but nobody show up. But the family and the friends and the cousins. So we're still doing stuff at the school.
If that's what's drawing the kids in, the football, and the baseball, and the basketball, let's do that.
But we do
Well, we have those programs. We have like the youth sports and everything. We have those programs. I mean, I definitely agree that we need to. I definitely agree that we need to cater to our youth more. Because if we don't,
but it needs to be just more than just
Have the last 6 months. Have we asked for any assistance from the state?
Sir?
With all the shootings that have been happening for the last 6 months, you know, the baddest we've got, have we asked for any assistance from the state?
We have, I have talked to people from MBI. I talked to people from the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics. And basically, when they can have an agent available, they will send somebody down this way. But until then, we have to investigate stuff on our own. We have to investigate it on our own.
Well, I mean, I'm sure any help y'all can get is going to be appreciated.
Yeah, it'd be greatly appreciated. But hey, but like I said, even the people at the sheriff's department. I mean, when we had an incident that happened at McDonald's, they was there, Johnny on the spot. They was there to help us. And so hey, it wasn't nothing to ask for help. And so if it's available, if the county can, come by, if they're not doing anything, they'll come by and help us. Just like last night, they came by, they helped us out last night. So yeah, we do get the help.
But the state hadn't done anything about it.
Well, I can't speak for the state. You can make a request. If they show up, they show up. If they don't, I can't make them.
So back to the other question they asked about the paperwork. Do we have any cases to where a case got thrown out because we didn't have the proper paperwork?
Okay, let me explain about the paperwork that goes to the district attorney's office. In any given case, if a case is being made, we start a case report, we do the report, we pick up people, give them their Miranda rights, put all of that in a packet, what the DA has sent. Okay, once that packet is put together, it goes to the district attorney. The district attorney looks at that paperwork, and if there's something that's not in there, they will send a request back to us, and so that way we get it back to them. Once they get that request back, then they present this to a grand jury, and the grand jury can decide if that case can go forward or if it's a no bid. That's not in my hands. That's the grand jury. I don't control that. And so, but to answer your question, if we do paperwork, send the paperwork in, they look over it. If something is not right in the packet, or is there any additional paperwork, recordings, or anything that they need, we try our best to supply that need. And because we've had a few people to leave that left open cases, and so once they're gone, we have to go back and pick up the slack and try to work these cases. And so because I've got plenty of cases that's on my desk that I'm working right now. Johnny has a few. Mackenzie has a few. We have these felony cases that we have to put together in order to get them to the DA. Because I know coming up February the 27th, we have to make sure that those cases are submitted to the district attorney. And so once they get those cases, they look over those cases, and then if it's good enough to go to a grand jury, they'll present it to a grand jury.
Chief,
Yes.
do we have, this is a reference to the paperwork, do we have a certified investigator on staff?
No, sir. That's the thing. We do not have a certified investigator on staff. That's why we have been continuously trying to pick up the cases that we don't have an investigator on. Because some of these guys have to get out here and work a case and all this stuff. And see now, granted that I have been doing this for a long time. even a person that has been doing it a long time can always learn something new. Can always learn something new, you know, because I remember where a great dear friend of mine, Walt Jackson, have told me. He said, if you ever get to the point where you know everything about this business, it's time for you to get out. And so, but like I said, you learn something new every day. And so that's why I'm in the investigator's class now. The things that I learn, I come back and I'm going to put a class on for my guys to get out here to show them what to do. Because even on certain issues, when that incident happened in Dan's ward, the incident that happened in Michael's ward, basically the guys out here, I'm showing them what to do, how to do it, who to go talk to, all this stuff. It's an ongoing training thing.
And why don't we have one? So you're having to do it to keep from having to hire one? Is that the reason why?
Unfortunately, at this time.
Just asking the question.
Unfortunately, at this time, yes. And so yes, because here's the thing, what y'all don't know. I call in at 5:45 every morning. Every morning. I don't miss a morning. My wife right here can tell you I knock that door at 5:45 every morning. Because she gets pissed off at me because I wake her up in the middle of the night. But I'm there. I'm making sure that, you know, that the cases are worked on, just constantly just putting stuff together. Johnny now, and all these other guys that here that works at night, they know we all work together. We all work together and try to do the best that we possibly can, but we need help. We need help. I mean, you know, is it wrong for me as a chief to ask for help?
No.
I'm just saying. But it seems like it's just everything is shut down. We can't get this because we ain't got this. We can't get this because we ain't got that. We need to make a way to find out to get this. I mean, it's just like we said earlier. What's the price on safety, guys? What is the price on safety?
Priceless.
Why would you depend on the county? I'm myself the deputy sheriff. Why would you depend on the county when we can have our own people? I'm not understanding that. I'm really not understanding that.
County is your head.
But how are they 30 minutes away? I'm a deputy sheriff myself. We're 30 minutes away.
You have a serious gunshot, just like last night, you can't help anything serious. All you gotta do is get on the phone, the radio, call them, see help.
Well, they monitor the
That's what I was
traffic.
about to say. So my question, do they not help?
Yeah, they help. They monitor the traffic. They monitor the traffic. And so, like I said, they came down last night, and you know, matter of fact, the chief deputy showed up last night. And so, yeah, he showed up, offered any assistance what we need.
So the county is helping?
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
just asking. I want to
Yes. Okay.
But the county can't help full time. I think that's what.
No, the county can
still help.
Then when you short staff, you need somebody to come in and read a statement or write a sentence, call the county.
I can't do that. No. I mean,
And the county supposed to stop what they doing and come and help New because New in such a bad position.
No, we're not saying that.
There's a lot of this shit because of gang territory stuff, gang drugs. They're in here trying to make a point, you know, you did so and so, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna shoot your car up, don't you mess with my territory anymore. You think, I mean, I'm asking you, is that possible?
Well, what is it?
What is the problem?
Tell it like it is.
If you're saying no, what is it? Or anybody?
It could be anything. It could be anything, all of them that answer.
It could be anything. But you know it's a no on drugs and gangs, right?
Everything's not gang related.
Everything's not right. I'm not saying it is. I just would like to know what y'all.
We know my tell, we can tell everybody. We don't know what it is.
But you can tell me it's not that.
Not, everything's not gang
Everything
related.
is not about that. We don't know. Just like you don't.
Randy, did you follow up on what we talked about the other day about the incident where I called in? Did you get an answer on that? Okay.
He
let me
answered the
know.
question. He answered the question right there.
No,
There's too many conversations going on. We need
All right. I called Randy about an incident that happened over in our ward that me and two other people saw. And I asked him to do a welfare check for a child because, I mean, it sounded like she's being beaten to death. Randy, you don't mind me saying this, do you? He told me he would get somebody right over there, and he did. But the officer that made the call drove right by and never stopped. He turned on off of Cherry, Walnut Street and went right down Cherry and never came back. And I felt like that was, you know, something something needs to be done where they've got a report that they file when he sends them out, because he can't do it all. But a report's the only thing he can follow up with, you know, I mean, once it's done, it's done. But, you know,
Did you report back to Randy that officer never stopped? Did you call him
I,
back?
well, I talked to him, but I mean,
You called him back? Yeah. I took care of it. You took care of it? Okay.
but, and he did, you know, but the thing is, we just want accountability. That's all it is. We want accountability in our city, and we want people to feel like that they're safe. And y'all want the same thing that we want.
Yes, sir.
And it doesn't matter what part of town it is. I want the city of Newton to feel safe.
That's correct.
That's it.
So,
I think going forward, the main thing is you want some feedback as well. Yeah. Hey, if whomever call about whatever situation, all right, at the same time, if the report isn't done in 5 days, but at the same time in like 2 or 3 days, hey, give this person some kind of feedback. Don't let them just be wondering. That's the worst thing to do, is let somebody just wonder what's going on.
Okay, well, I have a question. We had an incident, I know there was one day with a lady playing music from 10 o'clock that morning till 11:30 that night. We call, we get the dispatch, they tell us they're not gonna send anybody because there's been 21 phone calls. They're not gonna send any police officer over there to try to cut it down. Why is that?
Dispatch told us.
Yes, dispatch told us that.
Dispatch indicates the people that we pay our tax dollars to.
Dispatch told my
That's
husband.
why, Eric. Just, how do you know that? Eric. What do we pay dispatch? Since you know, what do we pay dispatch? I'm asking you, what do we pay our dispatch? The city of Newton pay.
We pay $3,373 a month.
And how much is that a year? About 40-some thousand a year? So don't say that. That's the truth.
Every call that goes into 911 dispatch, if they're recorded, is anonymous. It's true. So they're calling you, right? That's true.
So what did they tell you? What did they tell you? What did they tell you? What did they tell
They
you?
told him, my husband, that there had been 21 phone calls made and that they would not send another police officer.
Thank
over
you. So
there.
that came directly from your people, right?
Yes. From,
So I didn't say
and
that.
he
They
said
said
no.
that. Thank you.
You made a statement Tuesday
Thank
night.
you. I did.
It was like that.
I made the
every
exact
call
same
was
statement
recorded.
because of that right there.
They get it.
There it is right
I
there.
wanna
Ask
know-
her.
I want to know why
Thank
they
you.
told somebody that. Why are
Thank
they
you.
not going to send a police officer there when you have so many phone calls about the same situation?
I made the statement based on the community that has called them. Thank you. I want you to know. I want you to know that.
So you're answering the
I don't,
question
it
that you don't know.
was last,
She just gave the answer. Thank you.
it was 2 months ago.
Will you check with dispatch and see?
That's not my job to say with dispatch.
It was 2 months It was 2 months ago. No.
Okay, which call was it?
No, ain't gonna be nothing going on at the old Burnett building.
It was in the day.
I am the police at the Burnett.
Caleb's grandmother lives in the same neighborhood that call was from.
Okay, do we have the street or?
What address is that? Would that be Clark or would that be Lee?
That's Lee.
Lee Street, about what, you said a month, 2 months ago?
2 months ago.
Okay, I can look into it and I can play the recordings to see what was said.
So it's all of these recorded.
Every single thing that comes in and out of dispatch is recorded.
So how do I do that?
I will absolutely do that.
Patrick, you think you're in the hot seat, brother. These people here, we behind you. And I think I can speak for everybody in here. We want to help you.
Yeah.
We not criticizing you. We want to help you, and all we want is to have a safe environment for our grandkids, our kids, or whatever to grow up in. I mean, I got an old mother that goes every day, every Friday, and gets her hair done, and I want her to feel safe going downtown. And like I said, I got a shop downtown. I work down there at night a lot of times. If I got something wrong with one of my trucks, I'm down there at night fixing it. And I don't want to have to lean a shotgun up in the corner. I will, but I shouldn't have to. And I'm afraid what's going to happen is we're going to end up with somebody dying or multiple people dying over all this shooting and stuff, and then we're going to be on Fox News or CNN or whatever about, we the dirty little town in the South. And I mean, it's just, you know, like I said, I made the suggestion about, I thought police presence needed to be in neighborhoods, and I do. I'll stand behind that 100%. And not out here on the highway, you know, so much. Where, and like I said, it ain't only at night, it's in the daytime. I've heard shots multiple times in the daytime. It's not only at night.
I can tell you, sometimes they just walk outside and empty a clip up in the air. I've heard them do that on South Main Street.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I say the other night.
Coming from, you know, down in that neighborhood where the ex-chief lived, they walk outside, pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, the other day when somebody dumped one, they wasn't no way in the world they could hit nothing as fast as they could shoot, but they just shoot.
Chief, I got a question. Since the lady right there, she's in charge of dispatch. Ma'am, what was your name? Alyssa.
Yes, sir.
All right. Have you had any in the last 12 months? Any problems with dispatch?
No, I have.
Okay.
Can I make a question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
I work at Beehive Homes, and my police leave at 11 o'clock. We don't hardly see no policemen. And they are scared, and my little ladies are in there. I've got 8 residents. They hear these gunshots. They are so scared. And we need police around these Beehive, because they are worried to death.
Ma'am, I live in Sunny and Will at night, and I called them. So maybe if you call, they'll come. They show up. If I'm closing that store at night, they there.
Behind us, and they just drove. And that's the first time we seen
I'll
them.
call them back. Then nobody stop. Can you come back here while I close this store down?
They went to the shooting. They went to the shooting.
They went to they did go to the shooting when she called.
Yes, they went
Okay.
to the shooting. I think Assistant Chief Martin was working on that. Behind VIP.
I stay on Belmont. I'm ready to see somebody go to jail for the shooting.
Amen.
And going on until some arrests are being made. This stuff is gonna continue. I can't verify to say that it's for sure the same people, but the names are ringing in the street. The street committee say it's the same people, but they're still out here. And I don't want to see the arrest that happened on the guy that done the shooting on New Island over there. Him be made an example when it's a mo that they have done multiple things, supposedly.
Amen.
Make the arrest, get them off the street, get them out of here. If it's mine, I stand for right, not wrong. It's guilt. They got to do something. You know, as long as they stay here and stay on these premises, it's gonna still. It's you know, they're gonna keep doing this stuff. We got to something. You got to get them removed. To put them, something got to happen. You got to shake the foundation for something to move.
You gonna have to make an example out of somebody.
When you start arresting them, you start getting them out of here, the ones that are
I ain't
coming
even
from
going
Meridian,
to y'all.
wherever else they're coming, won't wanna come here, and that's what we want.
Make
That's
them
all we
scared
ask
of you,
for,
Randy.
just get rid of them.
We're getting ready to move forward. As I stated, I will talk to my team and get back with David about the questions that they had from Tuesday night and some more information to relate to you all. The main thing, we're gonna try to move strategically and be diligent about how we proceed in making the citizens safe. At this time,
I make a motion, we go in closed session to discuss, executive session, need for executive session.
Second. All in favor?
Y'all are more than welcome to wait till we come out of executive session to see
Yeah,
what
y'all
we
wait till we
discussed.
come out of executive session.
Y'all can wait till we come out.
Come in.
No, you stay with smoke. It's public.
Just tell them we're back in open session.
We're back in open session.
Do I need to amend anything or make an amendment to the? Same. All right, the subject's job performance, and, I'll talk for just a minute. We got a lot of issues. We got a lot of issues from the home all the way up to this board. We got problems. I'm not blaming the police department for every issue. I'm not blaming them for not doing their job all the time. But right now, we're at a crisis, and I think there needs to be a change. And Chief, I'm not questioning your character. You've always been respectful and good to me, and I appreciate it. And I still consider you a good man. But the people are speaking, and this board is being held responsible, not y'all. You may be catching it from the public, but every one of us on this board is catching it from the public. And if I go home tonight and I hadn't done my job, I can't sleep at night. I want to know when I leave here that I'm gonna be able to sleep at night, because tomorrow, or the next day, or next week, or next year, some innocent bystander's gonna get killed, or hurt, or injured. I hope none of those. But it's gonna happen. We can't keep having these shootings and somebody not get hurt, innocent. And the first thing they're gonna do is get a lawyer, and we're gonna get sued, big money, whatever the max limit on litigation is, or something like that. And this city's already broke. And when it runs out of money on that lawsuit, if they win it, of course they gotta go through it takes years to do it. It's got 3 years. They're gonna come to us in my pockets. Am I right, attorney? All right, so Chief, there's nothing against you, but I'm gonna make a motion for termination. And that's my motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Nay.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye. So Mr. Mayor, it's up to you.
Chief, we had a heart-to-heart. I believe in giving second chance. From Tuesday night, from what transpired here, and from last night, what transpired. I saw you take leadership. I saw you training your guys. So my vote right now is nay. But going forward, we have to have the safety of this city in the forefront every day. We have to do the reports. We have to follow up and give our citizens what they need to feel safe in our city, in our community. So from Tuesday to now, you've shown me that. I want you to continue to show us that. We're leading your guys to patrol and keep us safe. And from the community, we're gonna support you. But until that decreases, it can go the other way.
Understood. And may I respond?
Sure.
May I respond? Mayor, Board of Aldermen, City Council. Y'all have hired me as chief back on February 2020. This board named me to be the next police chief, and with that understanding and my training background that I possess, I was allowed to shape this department, and know who I wanted, know who I wanted to let go and didn't. And with that being said, we have structured a good department. Now, during the meetings, I clearly expressed that I would keep the board and aldermen informed on things that were happening inside the city, and hold me accountable for the things that are not, and that is something that is growing in this department. Now, during those times, there was a lot of information sharing. When the height of COVID was rampant, information is spreading that Lazy Boy was shutting down, and the city started, I stated that we're losing revenue. During that time, budget sessions were at this department was cut, $150,000. The police department was starting to lose its staff, and that we started hiring part-time more than that we can save on paying insurance and save the city money, not to hire full-time people, just more part-time. As we all know, most part-time people has full-time jobs, and that they can't come in the shift, and the shift may be liable or short-staffed, and as well as full-time officers taking vacation. Now, here's this last board meeting, several citizens came to the board addressing their concern, and rightly so. But something stuck with me, you know, during that last meeting. It was stated that people heard gunshots, and we responded to those calls. But the thing that struck me was that everybody heard the shots, but nobody said what they saw. That's the thing. And as during patrol, you know, we can go out, find out exactly what's what, and do what needs to be done. And so, you know, when officers respond to the call, they have to, you know, just find out exactly what information that the dispatch gave them. They have to go on that information. Now, during several occasions, I have asked the board for help in retaining officers, you know, to be competitive with other cities such as Decatur, who's paying their officers at $16 an hour. I've asked for a lot of things, and you know, to make this city even safer for our citizens, and try to get the technology to build to keep this city safe. But I told that the city is broke, just like Mr. Bob just said recently, and they said that the taxes haven't come in. And again, I asked the same question: what's the price on safety? So now it's amazing that people say they back the blue, tell the police how to do their job, but no one wants to do the jobs. When the citizen comes to the board and complains about what the police department isn't doing, and the chief takes on the criticism, and rightly so, yes, he should be held accountable. But now when the chief comes to complain about issues that affect the betterment of our city and our officers' safety, it falls on deaf ears. So furthermore, you know, I recommend and challenge the citizen that they look at every record minutes and which the public records and see how many times that I've asked for help to better the city and for the safety issues. My only concern is that, you know, I'm a taxpayer as well, and that, you know, upon the recommendation of termination, so what happens when you get a new chief? Is the new chief gonna have the stuff that he needs to work with, the people that he have to better protect this city? I mean, I'm just asking. And so, you know, but I'm proud that my mayor and my city aldermen stand behind me. I appreciate it, and I'm gonna do my very best to make sure that we do what's safe and to make the citizens safe in the city. And so, you know, it's easy to sit here and ask for termination. And I'll ask, what is the legal reason behind the termination? What's the legal reason? I want to know the legal reason. Not just because you're in your feelings. I want to know the legal reason.
I think you deserve an answer to that one.
And I'm waiting on an answer. What's the legal reason? Okay, yes, sir. But still, what's the legal reason? You can say at will all day long, Alderman. You can say at will all day long, but what is the legal reason? Legal. Legal.
Can't say legals.
Okay, what's the legal? Okay, but what's the legal? The legal is not because I have a bad hair day. The legal is that my pants is not, you know, rightly fitting. But what's the legal reason? This is something that you're talking about lawsuits and all this stuff and all this stuff. Okay, you can do it on the state level, but what happens when you go to federal court and give that same reason? Because it's an at will. What's the legal precedent? Okay, but still,
all of us may not agree on here, and we obviously
but
don't.
hey, but that same thing can apply to you, Mr. Bob.
That's right.
That same thing can apply to you. Your performance, and your reasoning for protecting the city. Your job could be questioned. Can the citizen write a petition to go ahead and remove you out? Not wait till voting time, just because on your performance. So that would be their legal reason, to write a petition and say, okay, Bob Bridges is gone, Dan Moncrief is gone, Tamika Drummond is gone, Eric McCaffrey is gone. What's the legal reason? Now y'all, I'm gonna tell you up front, now you're not dealing with no dummy. You're not dealing with no dummy. I'm telling you straight up. So, and like I said, and I appreciate the opportunity, I appreciate it. But like I said, tell me the legal reason why you want the termination. It's just not because you're in your feelings. Okay, thank you. That's my comment. That's what I needed to say.
Well, I have something I want to say. Chief and I have had some heart-to-hearts before. Chief will tell you, although I've supported you, how many times have me and you got into it?
A lot.
A whole lot.
Yes, sir.
I don't bite my tongue to nobody. I bite my tongue to, and he knows that. And when all this stuff was happening, I told him, I said, man, we need to do something about this. I said some choice words, but I was in my feelings. I had to stop being in my feelings for a second and say, does he have everything he needs to do his job? Does he have everything he needs to do his job? And we can argue all day about a $853,000 budget, but that budget only covers so much. It don't cover any extra officers, I bet you that. I know for a fact it doesn't. And even the 26-year veteran highway patrolman that was here, he's not even from Newton. He clearly saw it and said, hey, they need some more help. He clearly said that with his experience. I don't know policing. I'm not even going to pretend to know. I didn't want to hear from you because the people didn't trust you at the time. So I asked a person who just been here probably not too long in the city, who has nothing to do with y'all. And he even said that. So we don't have the money. I know we don't. But I'm asking you to do as best you can with what you got until we can get some more money to fight to help you do better. You know, because at the end of the day, you can't get blood out of a turnip. But I ask that you help us, and we're gonna do our part. We're gonna do our part, but we're asking you to do your part.
Yes, that's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking, just to help. Don't crucify me, just help.
Huh?
And the biggest thing, just make sure you got your paperwork in.
But Dan, you of all people, you saw that the other night?
Like I was saying before, from me on down, we have to be strategic, we have to be diligent, and we have to give our citizens that sense that we're on top of everything, to make them feel safe, to stay here, to grow here, and to invite people here. The community has to invest in the community. We have to invest in one another. We have to support one another. Like the lady said the other night, if you see something, say something. All right? But at the same time, we need our officers and you to be out there and giving them feedback on these cases. Don't let them wonder. Don't let the report go a month or whatever. Give it in 5 or 10 days or whatever, or give them some kind of feedback. Give them something. Don't let them wonder. All right? Thank you. All right, I'll go adjourn. Next meeting, regular meeting in March 7, 2023. Hey, Brian.